Welcome back to the channel, Brad Takes Flight, where we take our aviation dreams, turn them into realities. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brad. I'm here at a Part 141 school in Smithfield, North Carolina, called Blue Line Aviation. I've been on a journey from 0 hours all the way up through my instructor license, as well as a commercial multi-engine license. This week is going to be a really big week as I'm going to start up my CFI courses, so that's a certified flight instructor. If getting your instrument rating was the most intellectually challenging, then CFI is definitely the most labor intensive. We'll be creating next to 40 lesson plans going over everything from pilot qualifications to commercial maneuvers. It's an incredible amount of instruction and I can't wait to get started. With my own personal background being in teaching and instruction, I can't wait to get started. Today, I have my very first right seat intro. So if you're not familiar with that, normally to the left is where the pilot sits or the student whenever you're doing training. So I've been in the left seat this entire time. It's also where the PFD or the primary flight display is located inside of the aircraft. So this has all the things that are used basically to aviate the airplane. So your heading indicator, your altitude, speed, all of that is located on your PFD. In the right seat is normally the instructor or the co-pilot. It also has the MFD or the multi-function display in front of it that usually displays your GPS location, as well as you can find things like other aircraft, weather, your engine diagnostics, and just a plethora of other information. It's a little bit before 8 o'clock right now, scheduled to take off at 8:30. Should be really interesting because your sight lines change as you move from the left seat to the right seat. Most of the time this is due to kind of your vision and how you normally look out over the cowling. You're usually looking directly through the center line and you've got to retrain yourself to kind of just look directly out straight in front of you instead of out over the point of the cowling or where the propeller is at. Along with training my eyes on a very new sight line, I'm also going to be working on some maneuvers as well as landings. Really can't wait to get started and see how the right seat is versus the left seat, and I'll let you know as soon as I wrap it all up. Just got done with my first right seat flight. It was very odd seeing things from that seat versus the normal left seat that I've been flying for the past close to 150 hours. As you may be able to tell from the rain on my shirt or the sounds of rain in the background, we did have a storm kind of push in, but I was able to get in 2 hours out of the 2.5 hour flight, so that was really good. So I was able to get in 6 landings. They didn't feel like I over side loaded any of them, which is a normal thing. However, I went through a bunch of different grounds and kind of focusing on not side loading the plane, and so it felt even more awkward coming in on that first one, just to make sure that I didn't side load it, and the view picture is just so much different from what you're used to. Also did some maneuvers, and that was another really odd feeling. Again, you're doing everything with your right hand now instead of your left hand, as your left hand's on the throttle. You're also looking across the plane to kind of pick up everything from the PFD, where normally it was right there in front of you whenever you're on the left side of the plane. We did some steep turns, did some stall work. All of it just felt a little odd. I was within standards on everything, but I was definitely all over the place and wasn't holding a very steady or smooth kind of control of the stick and rudder. That was super exciting to get done and now have that piece into my logbook and experience that I can start relying on. Now it's time to go back home. I'm going to work on some lesson plans and work through Area 3 and Area 4 of the ACS for CFI, so that way I've got all my lessons ready to go once I start that next week. My plan is tomorrow. It does look like I have a flight currently scheduled for 8 a.m., but I don't know if I'll actually do that one. But I do want to get some of my lessons actually done and finished and completed, so that way I can bring them in, maybe even present while somebody else is kind of presenting, just to see how my flow is and how the structure of my lessons are compared to everybody else, and make sure that I'm on the right path so I don't build a bunch of lessons out that are just incorrect. I'm going to get to work, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. It is Friday at Blue Line. It has been a long time since I've actually even been in the building. I have been grinding away on my CFI stuff, just trying to get all of my outlines and presentations all done and transferred over into PowerPoint and pull in images and just get everything in that I need to for the ACS as I'm getting prepared to start my CFI course starting on Monday. I'm up here at Blue Line because there is an open ground for pattern work in non-towered airport. We're going to be using some advisory circulars and some things in the FAR to go through and talk about all the ways we should be entering and exiting patterns and just how we should be operating whenever you're in a non-towered environment. I think this is extremely important, especially when you're talking about just like runway incursions or just collision avoidance, period. Most accidents are clear VFR days and you're at your home airport, which is usually a non-towered airport. Anything that we can do as pilots to become better in these areas and continue to maintain that situational awareness and vigilance and not get too comfortable in those situations, I think is extremely important. I'll let you guys know how the ground goes once I finish up and everything that we've covered, as well as a weekly wrap up. Just got done with the ground. It was pretty much private level, setting people up for solos for the most part, which is fine. It was still good to kind of recap, try to work on some stuff a little bit, but wasn't really the best environment to kind of work through things. So asked some other questions and things like that I had about operations into airports and kind of how to pick things up or judge things or runway selections at places without weather information, stuff like that I may run into when I decide to do a little bit of soloing outside of this place. Overall, there's not a lot to report hours-wise this week. I was able to get done about 20 different presentations as well as a 28-page quiz. It's really intense trying to get that done for CFI. CFI class is going to start on Monday. I'm going to go ahead and get ready this weekend, start practicing my presentations, polish them up. I still have about 5 or 6 of them that I need to work on that I want to get some instructor input, kind of really get those things polished up and nice. A couple of them are mandatory, so those are going to be really important to make sure that those are solid because I'm definitely going to get tested on those. Right now, my total time is sitting literally at 149.9, so close to that 150 mark. Next week is going to be slammed filled with stuff. I can promise you it's going to be more back on pace of what we've been used to in these videos. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be all presentation days. Thursday, I've already got 2 flights scheduled. It's going to be absolutely slammed and you're not going to want to miss it. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like this video. Also, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys need from me as far as the CFI course goes. Do you want me to do some presentations for you? What kind of things can I do to help you on your journey? You can go ahead, click on this video right here for the next one in the series. You can click right here if you haven't seen any of the series yet. Check out my entire life at Blue Line, or of course you can always click right here to subscribe. And as always, keep the grass off your wingtips, aviators.